Okay, kids, here we are again. It's another fun-filled Sunday night as we bring you the Factivist report for the 30th of January. I hope all you people on the East Coast have dug out. I did dig out my car today. I'm all good to go. And look, before we start this, I just want to relay a phone conversation from the elder child in Boston today. Are you ready for this? What are you doing today? I'm not doing what you're going to ask me to do because my car is still buried. She goes, oh, I wanted to see if you could pick me up and we could drive around, look for a pump for my Starbucks syrup. I said, that's not happening, darling. I said, I know you've been in the dungeon all day, not looking at the snow outside. Your store didn't even open yesterday, but I'm not coming into Boston today. And I'm not driving around looking for pumps for your Starbucks syrup. I will bring you what I have here tomorrow. Children, you got to love them, especially if they're yours. Anyway, we're going to bring you this tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about where we are with a lot of things. And as always, the subject is the encroaching fascist state, brought to you by the charming people on the right-hand side of the aisle. Dave.
Fascism brought to you by DeSantis.
Yes.
DeSantis.
Brought to you by Trump.
Florida. Yeah, exactly. So this is a little bit of a catch-all, but I want to start talking about strategy and what people can start doing again. I'm not talking about trouncing out in the snow and getting you sandwich boards and all of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about choices and making choices and looking at, we're going back to voting again. I know we had a stop the vote or no, none of that. Yeah. No. So we tried that and it failed spectacularly.
That was a tactical error on our part. It was a tactical error on our part because the left wing always sits at home and doesn't vote. And not enough of the people on the left do it. But the right wing, they never not vote. So That was mea culpa, never again. Okay. I threw away all the obstruct the vote. It's all gone.
So, and a little bit of a defining what the liberal or left agenda is right this second. And yes, a lot of it is defined by what Biden is trying to do and what the right is defined by, which is pumping up Trump and obstructing, and canceling. And also talking about this idea of cancel culture and what it really is and what it really isn't. And what it really isn't is the market taking care of itself or consumers using its power. And I'm telling you, if you don't like a product or what a company does, don't buy their products, which is what you're seeing with Spotify. Right. Okay, so we'll get into a little bit of all of that and a little bit of political strategy and what we kind of need to do going forward, including but not limited to getting rid of the dinos. And the dinos are Democrats who label themselves as Democrats but vote as Republicans. And we have two, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin right now. Kyrsten Sinema looks like it's a real chance that we can get rid of her. It might be a little tougher to get rid of Manchin, but you know what? At least you give it a shot. So let's start this thing. Whoa, this is all over the place. So let's see here. Am I in the right one? Yes, I am. I'm all over. Everything is all over the place. So first, let's just talk for 2 seconds about the Supreme Court and the nominees and all of that. What Joe Biden, one of the things that Joe Biden is identifying himself with is picking a diverse cabinet and picking diverse nominees for everything that he picks. So he has already said that he wants to pick a Black woman for a Supreme Court justice, including, but not limited to, someone who clerked for the person who is retiring, and Stephen Breyer.
And by the way, this woman that he is talking about, he's already had her slated for another judgeship. I think it might be an appeals court. I'm not sure, but he has pulled back on that now because she's on the list for the Supreme Court, and he does not want to put her in and then have to pull her out. So I get that.
Right.
And so, yeah, so she's on the list for the SCOTUS.
So that is.
Hi.
Hello. We're going to mute you.
Hello.
You gotta mute.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
You muted him? I don't think you did.
I did.
There we go. Thank you. So that is one of the things that the Democrats are known for, trying to be inclusive. I don't want to hear this stuff about identity politics and all of that.
Okay, I want to take 2 minutes here to talk about that, okay?
Yeah.
Identity politics is a phrase that was coined by the right wing. Now, I'm going to just say this. If we weren't living in a country where the opposing party preferred white men in almost every position, we wouldn't need identity politics. If we had a party that wasn't continually trying to overturn what few rights gay people have managed to win and keep trans people out of the mix and try to overturn a woman's right to choose, we would not need identity politics. They coined that phrase as a negative phrase. It is not a negative phrase. It is absolutely required if we are to survive as a nation, because this country is not made up of straight white men, okay, entirely. In fact, 53% of the population is now female. Get a fucking grip.
The idea of identity politics implies that the person isn't qualified.
Exactly.
This woman that was initially put in, there's several candidates at this point, but the one person, she clerked for Breyer. So give me a break.
And the other thing, let me just say this while I'm on this topic of the Supreme Court. Ronald Reagan, not my favorite president ever, by the way. Ronald Reagan made it a point to appoint a woman. And he made no bones about the fact that at the time he believed it was necessary for inclusivity purposes. Donald Trump appointed a woman to the bench. The difference is that they were white women.
Right.
The hue and cry now from the GOP is strictly because she's Black. And let's get a grip here. The GOP is racist. End of fucking story. All right. Don't even argue that with me, because I'll bury you. Okay.
And that's a good segue. Biden smacks down racist comments from a Mississippi senator claiming a Black judge couldn't possibly be qualified.
Fuck you. Okay.
So this is Senator Roger Wicker. After racist comments alleging that a black female justice couldn't possibly be qualified on the Supreme Court. And the irony is that the Supreme Court is at the very same time hearing cases about this sort of affirmative racial discrimination while adding someone who is the beneficiary of this sort of quota, said Wicker. Well, there are 9 justices. You're talking about adding 1. You're not talking about loading the court with, give me a break.
No one worries about the fact that Clarence Thomas is black, but then again,
Yeah.
don't even stop me, okay? Don't. 'Cause I could get ugly, and I really don't want to do that right now.
Yeah, I don't want to go into all that in the history of.
I will, but if you make
Unqualified. Wholly unqualified. Clarence.
yeah, he's a jerk.
Yeah. Oh, and his wife, Jenny, I don't know if you heard about that. She's involved with things she's not supposed to be politically,
Right.
based on who
No,
she's
we know.
married to.
Yep.
Here he is, the little dictator.
DeSantis demands humility in Biden's Supreme Court pick. You're not a philosopher king. Now, hold on. Since when have you seen, since when have you seen humility in Florida's hairpiece? I mean, give me a break.
And by the way, since when have you seen Biden acting like a philosopher king? I haven't seen that. The
I didn't know
philosopher
if they.
king is in Florida.
I think Biden needs to step down and let Harris take over.
No, sorry, not going there. Please,
Okay.
I'm not.
All
Going,
right.
I'm not going there. I don't think Joe Biden's done anything wrong, and I think Joe Biden's agenda.
Yes, either. I agree, and I
It's what got him elected.
saying that, but
I'm not going there. Don't even start me.
it's not even comparable to what happened, what Trump did, how he
Ridiculous.
manipulated the public, manipulated his base, defrauded his base, manipulated them into fucking helping them with a coup. No, it's not comparable.
The previous comments kind of lend to a segue in a minute, but Senator Collins, she pipes up saying that she's very unlikely to back Trump in 2024, but at the same time hits Biden's clumsy Supreme Court announcement and says she probably wouldn't back his nominee for those reasons.
Well,
Give me a
say
break.
Susan Collins. I say Susan Collins is full of shit. You know, Susan Collins claimed to be in favor of a woman's right to choose, but she voted to approve Amy Coney Barrett. So she proved herself to be a bullshit artist when Trump was in. And the fact that she right now is unlikely to back Trump is not saying that she would not back Trump right now. Guess what? She can go fuck herself. How's that?
Right.
I have a question I really like to pose to you guys about abortion. Do you think, this is what I was thinking, that it might not be till after November that they overturn Roe because they don't want a blowback? They'll drag their feet on it and wait till a November blowout to then,
I think when they feel like they're confident they have the power to do it, they'll do it.
They're going to do it when they feel like it. They don't care about that. I honestly.
They're not getting real opposition right now. So
Yeah.
So you don't think they would delay it till after the November election to prevent
They'll
blowback?
cram it through as soon as they get a chance.
Nope.
Okay.
they just need to assume that they're going to overturn it and act accordingly.
I assume
that it's going to happen if
I
we don't
expect
act.
my recommendation would be for people to expect it to be overturned. If it isn't overturned, then it's a bonus. But right now, with the composition of the Supreme Court the way it is, it was purposely stacked to overturn Roe v. Wade. And I will say this: once they're done with Roe v. Wade, in the next iteration, they are going after gay marriage. I will tell you this: they will overturn gay marriage in the United States.
Right.
GOP is not interested in including anyone in their government that is white, straight, and male. End of story. It can't be any more obvious.
Well, Protestant helps too because they didn't let Romney in, but you know.
He doesn't bow fealty to Trump. They didn't let our governor either, and he was a Republican. So
you think I'm seeing something that's not there about, because I guess it's because they're separate. So I see what you're saying, because the court just is its own thing. It's not, they don't get elected. So they're not thinking so much about the lot.
He's appointed Neil Gorsuch. He appointed Kavanaugh. He appointed Amy Coney Barrett, knowing that they would vote against Roe v. Wade. They got a 63 majority.
Well, they're from the Heritage Foundation, right? I mean, they're straight from that.
Most of them are, yep.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm back. So we're just talking about the picks now, but now to have somebody interview a Democrat to see if they would pick or if they would confirm Biden's pick, who is obviously a liberal pick, is a problem. I did listen to the interview that's in here, the video that's in here, and Joe Manchin said that he is committed to giving votes to every single American, even though he opposed the voting rights bills. Just saying. So, just real quick, my take on Biden is, whatever you think of Biden, don't look at him, look at his agenda, and look at what he's trying to do. And just consider the fact that he has a lot of obstacles in his way. And if you want this done, you're going to have to probably attempt, if he's even running next time, attempt to get him in for a second term, because it may take that long to get his agenda in. And his agenda is the people's agenda.
It has taken him a full fucking year to clean up the mess that was left behind by Donald Trump.
Right.
Story. All right. This isn't a question of whether you love Joe Biden or you don't love Joe Biden. This isn't a question whether you agree with him on everything or you don't agree with him on everything. This is an issue where we have a guy who put together an agenda. Part of that agenda and the linchpin of that agenda was Build Back Better. 64% of this country, across all lines, Republicans, there are 30% of the Republicans want Build Back Better. 64% of the people in this country want this program. All right? And they are throwing everything in this guy's way that they can to stop this from happening.
And part of the pragmatic part of it is that there are a lot of moving parts, not only the public, but people within government looking to get reelected, people looking at his polls, the businesses, the military, the government programs, the postal service, everything, looking at what is going on. And on top of that, he has to deal with a pandemic. So part of it is just the machine of it. And then on top of that, you have the Republicans and the right wing and the machine, which is in full swing at this point. So this, let's see here. Yeah, this was just talking about who they're comparing him to. I'm not gonna, if you want to take a look at it. So this is an opinion piece in Bloomberg by Jonathan Bernstein saying that the liberal agenda simply doesn't have the votes. Now,
it has the votes of the people. It has the mandate from the people, and that's what they're supposed to be basing their vote on. Mandates from the fucking people.
There's a game being played here. The senators are representing the people. Now, I do have I believe it's a Washington or a Washington Post opinion piece in here a little bit later saying that Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema are listening to their constituents. Number one, that is highly debatable. Number two, they're not only affecting their constituents, they're affecting the country.
Right. So let me say it again while I'm sitting right the fuck here. Joe Manchin represents 1.8 million people in his state.
Right.
1.8 million. There are 335 million people in America, of which 64% want Build Back Better. There should be absolutely no reason why the tail should be wagging the dog. He has too much power, and that needs to change. When you are voting on a bill of national importance, your driving force should be the people, not just the people in your state. That's not just your job. You're not a state senator. You are a senator at the federal level. Go be a state senator. Let them have him.
Right.
Let him run as a state senator. Then he can sit down there in his ivory tower with his fucking Maserati. I can't stand that son of a bitch. I never could. Pardon my language. You're going to hear a lot of that tonight. If you're really soft-hearted, this is not your place.
All right. Well,
come
you
on.
might hear a lot. You might hear a lot of cussing.
What's going on with this tonight?
I don't know.
Some kind of nervous breakdown.
Well, while I'm waiting for this to, I'm waiting. Basically, this is an article talking about how much money Joe Manchin has gotten from backing off of Build Back Better. I'm not closing it. Stop. Well, no. What are they doing?
Closing some tabs, Dave.
Then we're gonna stop the show because this is the show. I mean, that's basically it.
Close that fucking tab right there. You can put it back in later.
Which one?
The one over here fucking blinking. This guy. It's this he'd support the SCOTUS pick. Or whatever that fucking thing is. It's there we go. Not that. Here we go. Let's just move along. We know he's getting money. By the way, he is indeed getting money from GOP donors, Joe Manchin. And he has also, there was an earlier article when he refused to back it the first go around about corporations that he was getting money from. So not only is he getting it from corporations, but he's getting it from GOP mega donors.
You will see the article
It'll be
at some point in my life. Where the hell am I?
You're looking for the AOC article. There you go.
There you go. So here's AOC using her laser eyes to stare at the back of Joe Manchin's head, which I really like. It's just the sheer frustration that this guy is holding up this bill, basically.
It is.
And
And you know what? It is not, in fact, I think they've conceded too much to him at this point.
right, it's basically what
You know, it's hard to work with him. They've been saying this for months. He changes his mind every day. He demands more every day.
Did they win over Sinema?
We're getting there.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
So, okay. So the issue we have is every day Joe Manchin wakes up, he has a different demand, and he wants to start from scratch every single day. Oh my God. She told MSNBC on Wednesday night that is a quite difficult position to work with. She added the idea is of just give him what he wants. He's been given everything he wants, and he wants more.
Yeah, he has. Too many concessions for him.
All right, I don't know why. I'm just taking the fucking thing out. I can't stand it anymore. I don't know why they're. All right, come on.
Wow, this is a pain in the ass tonight, man.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It, come on. Oh my God.
Get rid of that. Where's the SCOTUS pick? I'm telling you, that's the one.
Which one? Which one?
The one where he said he would back a SCOTUS. That's
Oh, that thing with the
Right
video.
right there. What? Right there.
All right.
I think that's it. Yeah. Let's see if that solves the problem. Oh God. Wow.
Yep. All right. Wow, Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's just plow forward. Another saying that Kristen Sinema could very well lose the primary. I think
Lose
I
the
just
primary.
lost that. Yeah, I just lost the thing anyway.
So in a recent poll that they took, it was shown that Kirsten Sinema would lose a primary in a landslide. So the notion that she's representing her state, well, she's representing her state if she was a Republican, but she's not. She's a Democrat. And the Democratic Party of Arizona censured her for her vote on the Voting Rights Act, because their position was that there is plenty of wiggle room to discuss policy. If you have Democrats who disagree with each other on certain policy issues, but the Arizona Democrats made it crystal clear that there was no wiggle room for voting rights. None. Okay.
All right, now this is a different source than I originally had, but this is very similar. Corporate donations to Senator Joe Manchin's PAC surged as he fought Biden's agenda. Now, that shouldn't happen with a Democratic congressperson.
Senator. He's a senator.
Senator.
So the notion that he can't be removed from the party by voting. I know that's what people think, that, they'll never get rid of him. He's untouchable, but you know what? Nobody's untouchable. Nobody. And I really do believe that if we want this party to represent the people that comprise its base, there is no room for people like Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin in the Democratic Party. None. No room. None. They have to go. They have to be primary. If they win, so be it. But the notion that you can't give them a fight is basically un-American. All right. I really believe they need to primary both of these people.
I think that the thing that really sealed Sinema's fate was the Voting Rights Act.
It was.
So here's a bottom line with the Voting Rights Act. There is something called pre-clearance, where you have a state that is historically prejudicial towards minorities, and they want to change the way they run their elections. They have to go through federal oversight. Now, over time, that started in the 70s, and over time that has eroded. These bills would have strengthened those again, and made it so that those states couldn't do that. Well, it fell through.
It fell through because Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema voted against it, and there were Republicans lined up on the floor of the Senate to shake Kirsten Sinema's hands for that vote. You know what? She needs to go. She needs to go.
All right. So this is a Guardian article, basically from Wired Donegan, and this was January 20th of this year. This is talking about the filibuster and being unwilling to vote to get rid of the filibuster, which has destroyed a lot of chances for Biden's agenda and for the left-wing agenda. By the way, which
There's more to it than that. There's more to it than that.
There is, but I mean that is just a very boiled down.
Right. What we need to understand here is that they will try to steal this election through the voting process first. Yeah. Number one, that's what they're trying to do. All of these bills that are being passed on a state by state by state basis,
right,
to keep minorities, women, gays, trans people, and people who are outside the realm, people they know will not vote for the GOP, out of the polling places. They are stopping voting at schools in the morning, daycare centers. They're passing all kinds of bills designed to stop that. And they will try to steal this election whatever way they can. This is now a GOP plot. It isn't just Donald Trump. But if that doesn't work peacefully, they'll do whatever it takes. If people don't think that what happened in January of this year can't happen again, they better think twice.
And now you have two politicians who are dinos in my eyes, that are voting the Republican way, and now it's being spun as turmoil within the Democratic Party.
That's bullshit.
Which is bullshit. So, and Biden is being pummeled for being an ineffective president when he put forth, the only thing you can really do as a president is put forth an agenda.
Right.
And nominate good people. That's what you can do. And he's done that. So just because the Senate and the House hasn't passed a lot of this stuff, it's not necessary. It's not on him.
It's on you to vote the people out.
Yep.
It is.
So here's that Washington Post opinion piece from a Republican operative, by the way, Henry Olson. And by the way, the Washington Post does have a right, or does have an obligation, actually, to post stuff from both the right and the left. So I'm not going
They
to.
are a newspaper.
They are a newspaper.
Because I have
But-
a right to disagree with them. And I think this is horseshit.
So progressives won a primary. Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Good luck with that. And by the way,
I'd
I
primary.
know Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are already talking about it.
Sanders
So-
basically accused Manchin and Sinema of working with the GOP to torpedo Biden. So,
Yep.
you know, and I believe there is some truth to that.
So the crux of his or his opinion piece is that progressive ideology is disconnected from reality, and that
Really?
Sinema and Manchin are voting based on their constituents.
Is it disconnected from reality when 64% of the country want Build Back Better? I maintain that that's bullshit. I maintain that that article is written from a position where they're not thinking about the people. What they're
Right.
thinking about are the Republicans who don't want it. And the Republicans and the right wing are not the majority in America. They're not, no matter what anyone thinks.
So what we are saying is that when you are thinking about voting, number one, vote. Number two, look at your candidates and look at the situation and look to see what you want to do. And then vote and vote these people out instead of bitching about it and doing it on Facebook or whatever. One example, and it's obvious I'm having trouble with tabs today. So I had to eliminate a couple of these. There was a guy, his name is Conor Lamb. He's in Western Pennsylvania. And when I heard some stuff about Conor Lamb, I said, okay, I'm going to check this guy out. What happened was a couple of right-wing guys, Paul Ryan, I think, said that Conor Lamb was voting on a conservative agenda. I looked at it. He's not. He is pro-life, but he doesn't vote on a pro-life stance. He actually votes on pro-choice stance.
Yeah.
Because that's what his constituents want. So that's the only thing that I saw from him. He is a lawyer from Pennsylvania, and his opponent would torpedo everything in the left-wing agenda. So what I'm saying is, don't just read one thing and say, "Oh, this guy is right-wing," and not vote for him.
Right.
I would take a look at your, take a look. Just do.
There are some people who have personal feelings about stuff that don't allow it to get in the way of their being an elected servant.
Right. It does happen.
Yep.
So now we're going to go into a little bit of the consumer part of it. And I believe, unless you don't have a TV and computer and a radio and anything, you probably heard about the Spotify thing. So what happened was Joe Rogan had a podcast where he had someone on that said that people were being hypnotized into thinking that COVID exists. Okay, so Neil Young said, you know what, screw this. He's putting on, like just medical misinformation that could really harm people. I'm going to take my music off. And it started to take off a little bit. Joni Mitchell joined. A couple other artists are talking about joining. And people actually started to not listen. As of January 28th, it was reported that Spotify lost about $4 billion in market value.
That's what I like to see.
Okay, so.
This is where people do have power outside of the voting booth. There are a lot of people getting rid of Spotify because of this.
Now, what I say is, who else has medical misinformation out there? You don't just look to Twitter and YouTube and Facebook to police this stuff. If you see people putting out what you think is medical misinformation, you stop watching it. So. So now we're going to get into, and some people are calling this cancel culture, and some people are calling this, censorship. It's not.
You know what it's
By
called?
the way,
here's what it's called. I own the fucking music. I can decide where I play it. Number two, I own my ears. I can decide where I listen to my music. That's what this is. It is not canceling anything. Okay.
It's called intellectual property. Now,
I have a right to choose. I have a right to choose my friends. I have a right to choose my associates. I have a right to choose where I listen to my music.
Right. Some of these people are possibly waiting before they take their music off because they have to talk to lawyers. I don't know what kind of legal stuff is going on, but, there is business involved in this stuff. But now on to the more important stuff. The View host mock Tucker Carlson Eminem redesign outrage. Okay, Tucker Carlson is upset that the female Eminem isn't wearing stiletto heels anymore.
He's wearing workout shoes.
Why is he upset about this?
It's not as sexy.
Oh.
Because, again, let me just say this. This is more proof that Fox News is a legitimate news source. And this is more proof that the Republican Party and the right wing has nothing to talk about with the American people but shit that doesn't matter. They don't have a policy. They don't have a platform. They don't have an agenda. They are totally reactionary to every fucking thing that happens. That's their whole...
All they're doing is trying to incite anger over things that shouldn't be a problem.
Or distract you from the shit that's really going on.
Yeah.
So this, I think this is an advertising, thing, like a advertising website. Sexy doesn't always sell. M&Ms get positive feedback on mascot changes. This is Diana Bradley, January 26th of this year. So this was a decision by Mars. Okay, this wasn't a protest. This wasn't anything. It's ridiculous.
This happens in advertising all day long.
They rebrand.
This is what they do.
Advertisers are adjusting to their market
It's
and
exactly
adjusting
right.
to what people want to see. The majority of their customers want to see. So all they're doing is just trying to keep up with you know, what
Customer
people
demands.
are attracted to, what they want to see. And Tucker Carlson is like, no,
Because he's an
gotta
idiot.
say the way it's been.
And speaking of idiots, here's another
Yeah.
one.
Oh, please don't cancel this one.
No, this is a good one.
Come on. No. I'm going to wait forever on this son of a bitch.
My favorite person on the planet here. Candace Owens. Click the top one and push wait. Sometimes that works. Well, we get that one to come up, but we're not there.
Hold on. All right. Well, I'm just going to read the title is up there. Candace Owens derides Minnie Mouse's new pantsuit. They're trying to destroy the fabric of our society. Okay.
Now,
So
the story on this one is poor Minnie. She's been in that fucking polka dot dress for 50 years. Okay. She has a right to get some new clothes. And so they enlisted Stella McCartney, Paul McCartney's daughter, by the way, who's a fashion designer, to come up with a new look for Minnie.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with desexualizing female characters in advertising. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and by the way, just for continuity purposes, she didn't get rid of the polka dots either. The pantsuit's polka dotted. So,
right.
But of course,
and I find it highly funny that a female wearing a pantsuit has an issue with Minnie Mouse wearing a pantsuit.
Well, what we have here is we have people who actually pay Candace Owens for content.
Yeah.
For this, you're paying premium to listen to Candace Owens. Something wrong with you. So this will be too.
Yeah. The bottom line is that Disney decided to redesign her outfits for an anniversary of Disneyland Paris, I believe. It was a marketing decision. It wasn't even a political or a feminist thing. It was a marketing thing.
But I feel like the outrage that's coming from these right-wing talking people, on YouTube and all these clips that you're seeing, like Candace Owens, all these right-wing voices, their anger is, I believe, is rooted in homophobia, sexism. Like, they're trying to make sure that there's not representation for other people other than right-wingers.
Right.
They don't like seeing anything.
They're trying
different
to
than what
protect
they
the
are.
fabric of our society, Sarah.
Yeah.
Well, here's
their place.
Yeah,
It's
here's
so easy for them to have these opinions because it's such a simple thought process. There's not a lot of thought going into it.
Here's the bottom line that the right wing bring up Mr. Potato Head. They bring up Dr. Seuss books.
To delegitimize gender identities of other people. Anything they can do to take a stab.
Well, it's not
that they don't see as their equal.
It's not even that. They are picking toys and cartoon characters, and they're delegitimizing the problems of real people that have been created by the right wing.
Right.
Like Black people, like Native Americans, like transgender, like the LGBT community as a whole, like people with mental disabilities. They don't talk about them. What they talk about is they talk about Mr. Potato Head or Mrs. Potato Head.
As far as canceling culture is concerned, that's again another right-wing derived term. Okay, that's another right-wing derived term. Now, I heard somebody talking about this with Louis C.K., who is now back on the road with his little comic routine, making light of the fact that he can't remember which woman he was apologizing to. You know what? That's not culture. Okay? Doing that kind of shit isn't culture. Since when is sexual harassment and sexual abuse considered culture in any society? All right? It is if you're a right-winger. But the bottom line here is the goddamn right wing is trying to cancel history by refusing to allow slavery to be taught. In Texas, they've already removed the requirement to teach anything about Martin Luther King, civil
We're making them uncomfortable. It's illegal.
In Florida, he won't allow children to come out at school unless their parents are called by school teachers. You know what? I'm going to just tell you this. When kids are coming out, I can tell you this from experience, they need a safe haven to do that in. Their home might not be the safest haven for that. But all of this bullshit is just that. We all live here. We all pay taxes here. And we are all afforded the same rights here.
Here we go. Candace Owen derides Minnie Mouse's new pantsuit. They're trying to destroy the fabrics of our society.
Yep. That's what she says.
Find a quote about her talking about LGBTQ. I'm sure there's one.
This is why people don't take these people seriously. Owen said they're taking all these things that nobody was offended by. It's like they had to get rid of them and destroy them because they're bored. They're absolutely bored. All right. So the issue is, it's Google is screwing this up for some reason. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna show Candace Owen is full of crap. All right. Why Minnie Mouse is trading in her red dress for a blue pantsuit? In honor of Disneyland Paris's 30th anniversary, Minnie Mouse is sporting her first ever pantsuit. It's a business decision. It's a marketing decision.
By the way, women have been wearing pantsuits since the 80s. Candace is a little slow on the fucking uptake.
I think it's important to acknowledge, though, that she doesn't have any actual real power. She's pretending that she does within the GOP, but they don't care about her life or the protecting of Black communities. So she's just like, she's there and she is qualified. She's a qualified speaker, but her perspective is just repeating what the GOP wants her to say. But she doesn't have any actual power within the GOP because the GOP represents white, rich men.
Well, she has power as an influencer. We can't
over her base. She has power over her base, and that is what's dangerous. That she's leading people to support white supremacy.
Right.
The thing is, again, if you want to take power away from influencers, you stop listening to them and they won't influence anybody.
Stop paying her money.
Right.
Stop
the same thing with
money. Her content is premium. It's premium content.
Not for nothing. Joe Rogan has shut up since this whole thing. He hasn't said a word.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? He doesn't want to lose his fucking gravy train.
Exactly. Now, there are more articles in here. The crux of the Republican strategy is obstructionism. it's obstructionism, and it's obstructionism, and it is cancel culture on the right. So I wanted, before I end up with the whole cancel culture thing, Jesus, how many things has the right wing tried to cancel? The right wing is canceling science.
Yep.
Through critical race theory. It's canceling the abolition of critical race theory, or the abolishment of history, teaching history. Their
Media.
The history, teaching of history. Certain media, left-wing media.
Yeah.
The presidency, just information, the medical community, they're canceling that. So, and we've talked about it before, that is what the canceling of real information leads to fascism.
Yep.
So, all right. So let me stop, or end this technological nightmare by including these two articles. To win in 2022, Democrats must cut the squabbles and get back to basics. This is LeVar Stoney. He is the mayor of Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand where he's coming from to a point. Okay. I believe that this
squabbling going on in the Democratic Party is between the Democratic Party, Kirsten Sinema, and Joe Manchin. And
yep.
I maintain they need to keep pushing back on those two. And I maintain they need to try to purge them from the party. End of story. You whether or not they win or not is not the point. The point is you find someone to run against them. You don't leave them unscathed. All right? I'm sorry. Now, their votes are going against 64% of the American people's desires. Just as, if it's possible, the GOP obstruction has gotten worse since Obama, not better. Okay?
This article from The Hill basically says that, hey, if there are minor, budgeting issues or stuff like that,
yeah,
let's do that behind closed doors. Let's not make it a big, huge ass issue and, make it public. That's fine. But there have to be deal breakers within the Democratic Party.
That's right.
And I didn't show the article. It is in here. They did censure Kristen Sinema. Okay, so they did censure her because she didn't back the voting bills.
Now, she was censured by the Arizona Democrats, not by the House or the Senate. She was censured by the Arizona Democrats, and I'm going to say this again, because I said it earlier, I'll say it again. They said from the get-go that there was plenty of wiggle room to discuss policy matters, but not voter suppression. They were clear that they expected her backing on the voting bills. She basically screwed them over.
Yep. Now we're talking about a mayor in Central Virginia. There is drama all in the school boards in Virginia and all that. So the bottom line is you have to unify, and I do agree that you have to identify Democrats that are not part of the solution and primary them.
Yep.
Here's Here's why. And this is the exact same state. Youngkin, okay, he was just elected as the
Governor,
as
right?
the Republic governor in Virginia. Yeah. The second he comes in, and Youngkin sparks Democratic backlash. Well, of course he will. He is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He walks in. What's one of the things that he does? Critical race theory and mask mandates. He lifts all mask mandates, bans all mask mandates, and he's attacking vigorously the teaching of critical race theory in classrooms. And how does he do that? Executive orders. So I'm just saying that the Democrats and Democratic voters have to get a clue and have to start thinking about this stuff.
By the way, does anybody ever vet Donald Trump's decisions before he opens his mouth? Because I'd like to point out that his rally in Texas, when he,
I bet he's kind of a loose cannon.
well, so let me tell you what he did. He used a line from a song to warn people about the evils of immigration. All right. The song was written by a black man in the 60s who was also a member of the Communist Party. So I think that Donald Trump probably should might want to think about it. And the song wasn't originally about racism. It wasn't about immigration. He just kind of took it and made that his message. But he might want to think about.
They don't do their research.
He also gave a shout out to an attorney general who ran somebody over with his car, I believe. So it's like, I don't think he thinks. I think that's,
Well, it's perfect.
whoever his, yeah.
Well, that works for him. He just goes off the cuff because it doesn't matter because his base doesn't care.
It's kind of the thing.
History, technical problems tonight.
He loves the poorly educated, remember?
What's the what?
He loves the poorly educated.
He does. He does.
Yeah, he loves himself.
He loves himself more than anything. And anything he does, by the way, is for self-serving purposes. He doesn't do one thing that's based on caring about the American people. I'd like to remind everybody that the Republican Party is supposedly the party that respects the Constitution. Is that why all of these people who took part in the insurrection are running for public office? Because under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, you're not allowed to do that. So if we really want to consider the Constitution the backbone of our country, we should be preventing these people from putting their names on the ballot. Just saying, because their claim to care about the Constitution is just totally fucking meaningless. But the reality is that, as I have said before, the coup moved out of the Donald Trump realm when everybody in the GOP basically decided that he had power and what they needed to do was to kiss his ass. So this is legitimately now a GOP party coup. They are, as a party, passing bills that allow them to steal the election. End of story. They're preventing people from voting because they know their policies, their belief system is wildly unpopular in this country. They don't want those people going to the polls. They have been doing this, gerrymandering districts, preventing people of color, minorities, and anyone who doesn't ascribe to their ideology from voting. This is not something new. This has been going on since before Newt Gingrich. And by the way, they've called in Newt Gingrich to write their 2022 platform. If anybody remembers Newt Gingrich's contract with America, let me just give you a tip. The contract with America should have been called the contract on America, not with America. And almost none of what they proposed got passed because it was wildly unpopular, but it did serve as a public relations ploy for them. Because in reality, they will tell you that it was the contract with America that allowed them to sweep in and take over dominance of the Senate and the House. Actually, most of the voters didn't even know about the contract with America until that was accomplished. So you will be getting a new contract with America. And Newt Gingrich has already stated that if the Republicans take over control in 2022, that the January 6th committee could be jailed. No, they can't, actually, because Congress doesn't have any power to jail a fucking soul. All right. That would have to be the Justice Department. And you would actually have to have committed a crime. And actually, the January 6th Commission is investigating the people who committed the crimes. So right away, we have the spin going on. So that's where we are. The goal here, I make no bones about it. The Factivist report, we're giving you the facts so that you get rid of the GOP. I have no ulterior motives. That's my only motivation, is to ensure that the GOP does not take back power in 2022 or 2024. They are running right now a test by state of fascism. It is rampant. It is everywhere. And if people can't see that, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention.
And people, honestly, people need to stop focusing on the leader and the president and start focusing on the agenda. And does it serve me? Does it serve the people?
By the way,
does it help people?
This. If you think masks and vaccines are the tyranny that's going on in this country, you're woefully uninformed. Okay, you really are. This shit, there is a difference between being inconvenienced and being oppressed. The pandemic is an inconvenience. There is no question about it. But it is not the first pandemic that we've ever had. And it is not the first time people were required to do certain things to get past it. Okay, we had the influenza pandemic of 1918. We had smallpox. There were steps put in place that people had to follow. They followed them. When they were done with, they were over with, they were removed. This is an inconvenience. The tyranny is the shit going on behind your back while you're focused on masks and vaccines. That's called public health. Okay, it is not us hiding fascism behind public health. It is them hiding public health behind fascism. That's what's going on here.
Oh, and by the way, again, Biden is getting hammered because of his response to COVID. How would you like him to respond to it? Would you have liked him to just thrown up his hands and said, okay, it doesn't exist? They tried that with Trump.
There is documentation that proves right now that Donald Trump purposely mishandled the COVID pandemic for political purposes. He spoke of putting people with COVID in Guantanamo to hide them so that no one would see that people are sick, to hurt his re-election campaign. It is proven that he held back CDC reports and made them rewrite them. Sorry, folks. You know what? He should be tried on that alone. All right? I'm sorry. You know what? I don't want to hear this bullshit anymore. If you don't, you're tired of fucking COVID. We're all tired of COVID. Okay? In the meantime, we are going to hit 1 million deaths in this country from it. And if anybody thinks that's no big deal, why don't you go talk to the 1,000 people who lost their family members and see if it's a big deal. This is a hot pot, this is a hot point with me, believe it or not. And by the way, in my store, in spite of the Supreme Court decision, you still have to be vaccinated to work there. You want to know why? Because if you don't want to get vaccinated, none of us want to work with you. That's the way that works.
I don't even argue with anti-vaxxers anymore because these people are drinking their own pee. They're injecting heart dewormer. You know,
They're inhaling hydrogen peroxide through a nebulizer. And you know what? They're worried about putting a vaccine in their body. They're drinking bleach. They're taking baths in borax.
they're threatening to go to the schools with guns if they have to wear masks.
And they worry, and Eric Clapton, he's worried about putting a vaccine in his body after shooting up heroin for 25 years. Shut the fuck up. Really. I don't even want to hear from you.
Deb, hold on. You're being hypnotized.
Yeah.
I'm getting you out of it.
Yeah.
Frickin' yeah.
Allow me to hypnotize a few people right here. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with the nonsense.
There's your TikTok video for this week, Sarah.
Are you guys talking about me? Hypnotized? I look hypnotized? I zone out for a while?
No.
Okay.
No, we're talking about an actual statement from some idiot that said that the American people are hypnotized and that's why they're getting the vaccine. You know what?
That's the Joe Rogan bullshit. That's the guy who went on Joe Rogan.
That came from a guy that he interviewed.
Yeah.
That came from a nitwit that he interviewed for his nitwit show. The Joe Rogan Nitwit Hour.
And the thing that with Joe Rogan is he always says he wants to inform people. Well, the thing is he didn't clap back on it. So
He didn't clap
inform
back
who?
on what? Hypnotized thing?
That's what I'm saying.
He's not going to clap back on that. That's how he gets his audience.
I know.
It's all about this.
And by the way, again, Spotify, they're sticking with Rogan right now because it's a monetary decision. It's nothing else. So when enough people,
they're going to put warning signs on his show.
Yeah, they're going to put warning signs on the show. Yeah.
Which none of his listeners are going to pay attention to because they're all crackheads too. Just like
nobody gives a crap.
Right.
So it's going to turn it. What it could turn into is a lot of the musicians are going to pull their content off, and it's going to become another right wing outlet for Alex Jones and Tim Dillon and Candace Owen and whoever.
Yep.
That could very well be what it is.
Yep. It is. It is. But hey, the way I look at it is if people want to take their medical information and their medical advice from a former WWE wrestler and failed stand-up comedian, they want to consider Joe Rogan an expert. Hey, who am I to stop him? But you ain't going to catch me listening to him or promoting him or defending him because I personally don't consider medical misinformation free speech, just like I don't consider hate speech free speech. I don't.
I never found his personality that appealing. I don't understand what it is about Rogan, why he's so successful.
I think it's his message.
Yeah.
It's his
Roscoe.
Yeah.
Do you know that your sound is really bad?
It's bad when I'm usually muted. Is it bad right now?
Yeah, it's been bad for the whole time.
Oh, damn. Okay, it's probably my computer. Or maybe if I have other windows open, will that affect it?
You're so loud, it's hard to hear you.
Oh.
all right. So can we kill this now? We're
Yeah.
done. We're going to kill the recording.
Yep.
Hang on.
Kill it.
Hang on.
We're canceling the recording.
We can't say
Cancel it.
recording, but not the culture. All right? Hold on to your underwear. Don't get upset.